Right, we are working with the order of operations. We are going to need a pencil and something fun to underline with today. So go ahead and grab your supplies and head on back. All right, here we go. Order of operations. It is incredibly important as mathematicians, as scientists, that when given the same problem, we are able to come up with the same answer, right? Think about scientists that are working with other scientists across the world. If they're sharing research, we want to make sure that they're able to come up with the same answer so that they don't have some kind of explosion or something crazy happen in their science labs, right? We want to be able to come up with the same answer no matter what the problem is. So we do have order of operations, the order that we do mathematical operations in, PEMDAS. And you'll notice as well that I did write it very specifically out to the side. P, E, and our M and our D are next to each other, as our A and S as well. So there's a very good reason for that we'll talk about in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and jot down what these letters and things mean. I'm gonna grab my marker. So our P stands for parentheses or grouping symbols. Our E stands for exponents. M and D stands for multiplication or division, whichever comes first. So once we get to this step, we're focused on searching for either one of these. And how do we know which one to do first? We work it from left to right, whichever one appears first. Same thing with addition or subtraction. Once we get to this step, we're looking for either one, but whichever one comes first, left to right, is the one that we do first. All right, let's take a peek at our problem. We do have a rather large problem to do, but we're gonna chunk it one step at a time. The first thing I like to do is go through and just adjust any math symbols that might look a little odd. So the first one I notice is our slash, which is another way to show division. 3 squared, 3 to the second power, plus 3, and then I don't see a math symbol here, but we know that that is implied multiplication, and I might make a note with an exclamation point, because that's something we need to know from our own brain. Then we've got 16 divided by 4. That dot means to multiply times 2 minus 4 all over 2. And we know that this big long division bar is just another way to show, or this big long fraction bar is another way to show division. All right, so we took care of that. Our first step is to use PEMDAS as our checklist. So the first thing I'm gonna do is check, do we have any parentheses? We do, and we have work to do inside our parentheses. So the question is, how do we know what to do first? Well, we have to follow the order of operations inside those parentheses. So we do a check. Do we have any parentheses inside? Nope. Do we have any exponents inside? Nope. Do we have any multiplication or division? We do. How do we know which to do first? We move from left to right. Whichever one comes first is the one that we solve first. So I'm going to use my marker throughout this problem to underline the step that I'm choosing to work on. Division came first from left to right, so that's what I'm going to start with. And then as mathematicians, we are not lazy. We're going to rewrite that problem. So we've got 18 divided by 3 squared plus 3 times, the only thing that's going to change is what we underline. We're going to simplify that. We're going to solve it. 16 divided by 4 is 4 times 2 minus 4 all over 2. So you'll notice, again, the only thing that changed was this problem. We just answered it. That was it. All right, are we done with our parentheses? Nope, we still have some work to do in there. So take your marker, underline it to show that that is the next step that you're choosing to do. And again, we're not lazy, so rewrite that problem times. The only thing that changes is that we solve what we just underlined. So 4 times 2 is 8 minus 4 all over 2. Goodness, are we done with our parentheses? well, we have parentheses. Do we have any work to do is the question. So take your 2 index fingers, cover up the parentheses. Do we have any math problem to solve in there? Nope, it's just the number 8. So although it looks like we have parentheses, there's no work for us to actually do. So we are done with our parentheses. And we move on. Exponents. Do we have any exponents? We do. 3 squared. So I'm going to underline it to show that's what I'm choosing to do. 18 divided by 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 3 times 8 minus 4 all over 2. All right, do we have any more exponents? Check it off the list. All right, now here's the important one. We're down to multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right. So you'll notice that we have both. So with your finger, follow along. What do we come across first? Division. So we'll underline it and we'll solve it. 18 divided by 9 is 2. We rewrite everything else. Plus 3 times 8 minus 4 all over 2. Are we done with multiplication or division? Not yet. We've got this little one right here. Underline it to show that's what you chose to do. 3 times 8 is 24 minus 4 all over 2. Are we done with multiplication or division? Well, technically, we talked about earlier how the fraction bar means to divide. However, right now we can't divide because I don't know what I'm going to be dividing by 2. I'm going to have to solve this first, kind of like baking cookies. If these are different types of cookies, I need to know what the total is before I can actually divide it by 2. So for now, we are done with our multiplication or division. So we're going to move on to addition or subtraction. How do I know which to do first? We move from left to right. So we just follow it along, and it looks like we come across addition first. Underline it to show that's what you're choosing to do. 2 plus 24 gives us 26 minus 4 all over 2. We're so close to being done. We're going to wrap it up with that 26 minus 4, which gives us 22 over 2. The fraction bar means to divide. So we have 22 divided by 2, which is 11. So we took this big mama problem and solved it. It's 11. Okay, order of operations, incredibly important. We are going to summarize our steps down here. Our first one is to write PEMDAS correctly, which means I've got my M and my D and my A and my S right next to each other to remember it's whichever one of those comes first from left to right. So write PEMDAS correctly. And then, of course, remember to use it like a checklist. Second, we are going to underline our first step, and then we'll continue to do that throughout our problem to show what we're choosing to work on. It's a great way for you to check in with a partner to see if you have made a goof or if you disagree on what the next step was. The last step is simply to solve it and rewrite until you can't rewrite it anymore. Okay, we're gonna utilize these 3 steps on a shorter problem so we can get a little bit more practice. So step 1, write PEMDAS correctly. So P-E, I'm gonna put an arrow underneath my multiplication or division and my addition or subtraction to remind me that I go from left to right when I get there. All right, so let's check. Do we have parentheses? Nope, we can check that off. Do we have exponents? We do, so I'm gonna underline it. When you're doing this, you can choose to do it in pencil. I'm using the marker because that was handy. So we rewrite it. 8 minus 2, that dot means to multiply, plus 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is 16. All right, now we're done with our exponents. Next up, multiplication or division. Do we have either? We do have multiplication. So underline it. And we're not lazy. We rewrite our problem. The only thing that changes is that part that we underlined. We're just going to solve it. All right, any more multiplication or division? Looks like we are set. Do we have addition or subtraction? We do. How do we know which comes first? Because we have both. We go from left to right. So what do we come across first? Subtraction. 8 minus 6 is 2 plus 16. So 2 plus 16 gives us 18, and we are finished. Awesome. All right, so quick recap. Order of operations. As mathematicians, we want to be able to solve any problem and come up with the same answer no matter who's doing the problem. So we use PEMDAS as a reminder for what order the problems go in. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division from left to right, whichever comes first. Addition or subtraction from left to right, whichever comes first. All right, great job.